Guten Morgen, folks! Happy Homebrew Wednesday. Good morning. Happy Brew Day. Today we're going to Germany. After we get into this homebrew, I've got some, I got some of that Brewer's Best American Cream Ale. I almost called it the All-American Cream Ale. Regardless, it's very good. Cheers, guys. Good to see you back here today. We're about to talk about Germany. Good. Yes, good. On we go. So, last week I mentioned that we might make the Kölsch this week. We're finally getting around to it. This was a Northern Brewer kit, but it's an all-grain kit. So, I've never done an all-grain kit before. Something sounds not right about that. You hear kit and you think extract, right? Not today. Okay? Today we're doing the Kölsch all grain. We've got 9 pounds of grain here. They call it G301 Prairie Malt, but it's just German Pilsen white malt. Okay? Freshly packed on July 6th. So, wow, tomorrow it'll be a month old. Freshly packed, we got a nice seal on this bag. It was actually in 2 bags. So, this will be great. It'll be nice and fresh. We have German tradition hops that come in at 4.9% alpha. And I think those are our 60-minute. Yeah, the tradition hops are a 60-minute edition. And then we're gonna have a 30-minute edition today. Another ounce of German Herzbrucker. Okay, and those come in at 2.5% alpha, okay? Not high at all in alpha. The tradition are higher, so we're using them as our bittering hops. I guess we'll still get some bitterness from the 30-minute hops, but at 2.5% alpha, mild, herbal, floral, and fruity overtones. Okay, so we'll mainly be getting the aroma, and some flavor from the Herzbrucker. And then, Kölsch style ale yeast from Lallemand. Okay, I'm gonna go through this in the fridge. Actually, I'll use the garage fridge. What was I thinking? So, got a few things to talk about real quick with this recipe. You can see, these are my instructions. It's easy. This is easier, or it looks easier than the instructions for an extract kit. I'm gonna talk a little bit about what they're asking me to do versus kind of what I'm doing. I'm doing it a little bit differently. So number one, it tells me it gives me a choice. I can do the traditional multi-step mash, which is protein rest, 122 degrees for 20 minutes. Then a beta sac rest at 149 for 30 minutes. An alpha sac rest at 158 for 30 minutes. And then mash out at 170 for 10 minutes. Which equals a 90-minute mash. Or, option B, single infusion. We're doing a sac rest, so basically just mashing at 151 for 60 minutes. And then mashing out at 170 for 10 minutes. Okay, I've never done a mash out before. I was reading up on it a little bit this morning, and everything I found, it just says a mash out, raising your temp to 170, stops enzymatic conversion of starches, okay? And makes the fluid less viscous. You can look up the pros and cons, if there are any, of either for a mash out and see what you can find. But the Brewcephas guys, I always end up on Brewcephas when I ask a question. Basically, they said it doesn't matter. They made 2 beers, 2 batches, one with a mash out and one without, and he couldn't tell the difference. So that kind of leads me talking about mash thickness. I usually do 1.3 quarts per pound. In the Robo Brew, with 9 pounds of grains, I can easily handle 1.5 quarts per pound. So I'm gonna do that today to make the mash a little thinner. It'll be easier to stir and all of that. And you can look up the differences, you know, between mashing at 1 quart per pound versus 2 quarts per pound versus anywhere in between. And you'll get different answers. Again, I ended up on Brewcephas. They did another split batch and said they couldn't tell a difference between, you know, the different grist ratios they used. So basically today, you know, I'm a fan of tradition as much as anyone. I love how with German beers, you know, they're so clean, the Reinheitsgebot, you know, German purity laws won't let you put fruit in it, right? And still call it beer, at least in Germany. Water, malt, hops, and yeast. Those are the 4 ingredients that are allowed to have it called beer. So obviously in Germany, they stick a lot closer to their traditions than we do. Or maybe our traditions as Americans, once we migrated over, was just do what you want. So by doing what you want, maybe you're sticking with the American tradition. So cheers to that, okay? Cheers, folks. But basically what I wanted to talk about was that people who are so nitpicky and do the traditional multi-step, you know, the protein rest, the beta sac rest, the alpha sac rest, and then mash out, I can appreciate the hell out of that shit, okay? If I were to go to someone's house and you were to give me a nice looking pint of beer and it was clean, you know, it tasted good, and he said or she said, you know, I did all of these different things, you know, I had to rest it here, I had to rest it there, I did a mash out. Either way, if the beer's good, it's gonna be good, but I definitely appreciate the care that's put into things, okay, and it makes me appreciate those things more. I'm not avoiding the traditional multi-step today because I'm scared of it or because it looks like too much. It looks pretty easy, especially with the Robo Brew. You know, if you were using a mash tun and had to raise the temp and maintain the right mash thickness and do that 3 different times, that could be difficult. With the Robo Brew, I just up the temp. The reason I'm not doing the traditional multi-step today, and I don't know if this is a good reason, but it's my reason. My fermentation fridge in the back of the house has the Oktoberfest in it right now, and I don't have room to put another beer in it. So this beer today is gonna go in a bucket. It's gonna go in my freezing ass cold back bathroom, which will be fine for fermentation temp. But I've been noticing that I get some of these fruity esters or floral esters from my yeast when I don't control the temperature. When I have it in the fermentation fridge and it can just stay at 65 the whole time and come out nice and clean, that's great. But when I throw it in the back bathroom, it still comes out really good. But once the fermentation starts, you know, they say it can heat your beer up by 10 degrees. If my back bathroom is 68 degrees, which it probably is, maybe my beer gets up to, I don't think mine heats up 10 degrees, especially these little small beers. They might get up to, you know, 72, 73, but 75 degrees I feel, or I think, is the high end on this yeast. So at some points I might kind of be pushing that high end, and that's maybe where some of these esters are coming from that I'm tasting. It still makes a great beer, and this beer is clarifying by the day. Actually, let me just show you this one again. It tastes very good, but I do feel like I can pick out the flavors that wouldn't exist had I fermented at a little cooler temperature. And I know I'm nitpicking now because this is good beer. Okay, But what I'm saying is I'm not gonna go to the trouble today of doing all these rests, because really, I feel like you just do those things to feel good about it. And if I'm eventually just gonna throw it in the back bathroom, you're only as strong as your weakest link, right? Well, my weakest link is having to ferment in the bathroom, which, like I said, isn't bad, but it's definitely my weakest link. So why do all these other things when I'm not gonna completely control the fermentation temperature, you know, down at like 65, 68 degrees? That's my feeling, okay? Cheers. Basically though, what I was getting at is today, we're making a beer for 75 cents a beer. When this comes out, that just shows you what I'm gonna expect from it, okay? I expect to have a really good beer between me and you, but after the money I've spent on this, everything, including the water, this comes out to me paying 75 cents a beer. So if the beer's really good, man, I'm gonna feel really good about it. Every time I drink one, I'm gonna go, would I pay 75 cents for this? Yes. If the beer sucks, if it's drinkable, we'll say if it's drinkable, I'm gonna say, I only paid 75 cents for this beer. It's pretty dang good, right? So, instead of focusing on the German tradition today and, you know, making a super traditional Kölsch, I'm gonna focus on the fact that I got this kit for 30 bucks. Because Northern Brewers sent this little "we're sorry" card. Please, they say, take $10 off as our way of saying we're sorry. Because of the pandemic, because of things they weren't able to control, maybe orders have been slower, they gave me 10 bucks off this kit. So instead of paying 40 bucks, I paid 30 bucks, $10 shipping, so $40 total. 53 beers I'm gonna get out of this thing. 75 cents a beer. I feel good about that. So I'm getting my strike water up to 151, actually 152, because the Robo Brew only goes in increments of 2 degrees Fahrenheit. So you either have to choose 150 or 152. Maybe the grains will cool the wort from 152 to 151. But either way, it's gonna be a little bit of a shit show, because as we go, as you know, if you've seen some of my other videos, I can't just keep it at 151 or 152 even. I got a 1,000 watt burner on here and a 500 watt burner. If I let them both burn, even if my temp is set at 152, it's gonna climb to like 160. So I gotta cut the 1,000 watt until it drops to about 150, kick it back on, let it get up to about 152 again, kick it off. So I'm gonna be babysitting this thing for the hour mash, okay? As always, which is fine. I mean, it's brew day. We're out here drinking beer, we're having fun, listening to tunes, and though you can't hear them, just trust me when the camera goes off, the tunes are going, that's for sure. Okay, so I'm gonna let my strike water finish getting up to 152. Then I'm gonna come back, we're gonna dough in, and we'll be off to the races, okay? All right, so our time's up. We're gonna flame out real quick. Okay. I usually like to chill to 75 degrees and then pitch my yeast. I feel like the steam's in the way. What I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna knock the heat off of it so we know that the range between 90 degrees Fahrenheit, thank you, and 140 degrees Fahrenheit is perfect. It's ideal for bacterial growth. So below 80 to prevent oxidation. I'm gonna do that as quickly as I can. And then I'm gonna put it in the fermenter. I'm gonna add some yeast nutrient. And then I'm gonna throw the whole thing in the fridge. Spritzy is a word often used to describe Kölsch. Very refreshing and a popular lawnmower beer for beer snobs. Okay, so I really don't want to be pushing the top of that range. Even though I don't have a fermentation fridge available, I want to make a nice crispy Kölsch. Okay, I guess my attitude's changed throughout the day. I want to do the best that I can. So what I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to knock off the heat below 80 degrees, put it in the fermenter, add some yeast nutrient, put it in the fridge, and then around bedtime I'll check back in and I'll pitch the yeast. Since it can handle down to 59 degrees, I'd like to pitch as low as possible. I'll have it below 80 degrees in the next 30 minutes. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'll see you back here with the bucket to put some yeast nutrient in it. Then we'll pop it in the fridge and then we'll hang out until bedtime. Okay, so we got our wort out of the 90-degree range. You other guys who use the Robo Brew and have found a way to keep that pump from clogging up, I don't know how you do it, but it's very difficult on this thing without a pump to chill the wort down quickly because it recirculates it from the bottom and then back up onto the coils themselves. My pump clogged again. This will be about the 10th damn time I've taken the bottom off. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get the wort into the fermenter, and then we're gonna add some nutrient, okay? Okay, so we've got over 5 gallons. We've got closer to 6 gallons in the fermenter now. I'm gonna go ahead and add some yeast nutrient. It says use 1 teaspoon per gallon. Okay, got a teaspoon. One. And we're just gonna, even though I put over 5 gallons in here, we're just gonna go like it's 5 gallons. 2, 3. Some of these teaspoons will be heaping. 4. And 1 to grow on. Okay, that's it really. Next time you see me, all my equipment will be clean. I will have taken a shower. I can't believe it can happen as fast as it's gonna happen for you because I've got a little bit of a road ahead of me, but that's okay. Oh, I should mention at this point, a Kölsch should come in between 1044 and 1050. This recipe said 1048 would be the OG. I came in at 1044, okay? A little bit low, 1044 as opposed to 1048, but it's still a Kölsch. So that's good news. All right, next time you see me, I'll be super comfy. I'll be feeling good. We'll pitch some yeast and that'll be it, okay? Time to clean. Cheers. Okay, so now I'm back, like I never left. So let's sterilize our thermometer here. See what we got the wort down to in the fridge. You'll see I did put a new airlock on this. The stem of it is a little fatter. The other one just wasn't fitting in here. I've never had that happen before. So what did I say the fermentation range was? 59 to 72 for this yeast. We got it down to 69 degrees, okay? That'll be fine. So like I said, I'm gonna throw this back in the back bathroom. And it's gonna ferment back there over the next few weeks. Remember, we added some nice yeast nutrient to this also, so this will be excellent. I'll get it inside before it warms up anymore. It's been fun today. Made a nice little beer, throw it back in the bathroom. Here in probably 3 weeks, I'll come out and keg it. And then instead of force carbonating it this time, the instructions say to do a 1 to 2 week primary, then a 1 to 2 week cold secondary, and then 2 weeks of bottle conditioning. So instead of a 2 week primary, I'll probably do a 3 week primary, and then just keg it, carb it, you know, at like 9 PSI and let it sit in there for a couple weeks. I'm not gonna be in any hurry to get into it. So that'll be a good cold secondary, and then by the time I drink it, it should be nice and crispy, okay? Thanks for joining me today, guys. Cheers, happy Homebrew Wednesday once again, and we'll see you next time. Peace. Hey guys, welcome back. So it's been about 32 hours, I think, since we made the Kölsch. Got some good homebrew here. Cheers, guys. I had an idea. I wanted to make the crispiest Kölsch possible, but my problem, like I said, is that it's in the back bathroom. Okay, it stays around 68 degrees in there. It's the coolest part of the house. But I knew to make the crispiest Kölsch possible, I would need it to be a little bit cooler. So here's what I did. Got the watermelon wine over here. I got some water in there. I had some ice in it. All the ice has melted. So I'm gonna test the temp of the water real quick and see what we brought it down to. Now, of course, this will just be ambient temp, but if the ambient temp in the bathroom was 68, 69 degrees, we're gonna see what it is now. Okay, so we just brought the ambient temp from 68 in the house down to 60. So this thing hasn't started bubbling yet. So it hasn't even really taken off. So now when it takes off, hopefully the temp, you know, is quite a bit lower than it was. And hopefully we make a crispy Kölsch. All right, cheers guys. I'm gonna leave you to it. See you next week.